Okay. Two things I wanted to talk about today. The first thing is that there is a problem on Codeplex currently. Some of you may have noticed that the notifications are not working properly. I'm not getting any notifications from the discussions forum, and everything's. That's a general statement. Everything is broken and nobody cares. But yeah, it's been a week. I've contacted somebody I know at Codeplex. They're telling me that they're working on it, but I haven't seen anything happen. So maybe I'll ask for an update today. What does that mean? Bitbucket and GitHub are running circles around Codeplex.
It means that they're innovating and improving their sites on a monthly basis.
While Codeplex is kind of stagnating.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, there's a feature request for a display name for like 4 or 5 years. It's funny.
A display name.
Well, it's not funny though, because this is Microsoft behind it, and I know it's outer curve now, but it's Bitbucket and GitHub are really doing a good job innovating. I mean, they're adding features all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to use
features, but not nearly as fast. And okay, well, I'll get an update on that. So that was the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to discuss, I would have preferred for Sebastian to be here for that discussion, and we'll probably have to table any decision on it. That's moving to GitHub, actually, or to Git at least. Maybe not GitHub, but at least Git. We've talked about that before. We know that eventually we want to do it, and there is no time like now. So, what do people think about moving to Git? Any new comments on
so if we move to Git, I'd like to see. If we move to Git, I'd like to see a little bit more integration with Azure, because at the moment you need to push out Azure you need to push out to Azure in a different way than you would normally push all the source code. So I think if we move to Git, I'd like to. For me, that's the biggest benefit of moving to Git is the pipeline to Azure.
That's a very good point.
Because it's not the way I like it at the moment. So yeah. But apart from that, I like Git. The only thing I don't like about it is its tool set, but it's getting better.
What are you using?
Pardon?
What tool set are you? What tools are you using?
The command line and toolless Git. The Windows GitHub client is crap.
Tortoise Git is not good, and I'm suspecting
that's not good. But
there is
GitX
is crap, or XGit that is a lot better and a lot closer to the Mercurial tools.
Is that it? XGit?
No, let me.
Or are you talking about Git extensions? Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't used that in quite a long time, so it may have changed quite a bit. So I can check that out. But I also tried to use the GitHub client for Windows, and that's possibly the worst tool I've ever used.
Really?
Yes.
I've actually been using it for simple stuff, like for example for the documentation. That's what I use.
Simple stuff is fine. Anything complicated. I had an incident where it actually wiped some of my history.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, so I use it for diffs because it kind of looks nice, right? But also it doesn't do diffs if you change your line endings very well. It doesn't do that very well.
Yeah, it's definitely not the right tool to manage a big project like our chart, but on simple stuff it's decent, I think.
Well, I was using it for Orchard, so it was just a bit disappointing, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Git's good.
yeah, if you Git extensions is a lot better than Tortoise.
I'll check it out tomorrow.
Yeah, because Tortoise is a train wreck. It's just no use. Okay.
Are you looking at moving to GitHub, and what does the Outer Curve Foundation think about that, by the way?
I don't think the Outer Curve Foundation would care. Microsoft would care, I think. Yeah, we can remain on Codeplex and switch to Git, or we can move to GitHub. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we can go either way.
Do we want to talk about pros and cons? And I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yes, exactly. That's what we want to do. Yes.
Yeah.
The problem with Codeplex is exactly what Brett mentioned. It's not innovating. GitHub is pushing out new things all the time. And same with Bitbucket, but I'd probably rule Bitbucket out as something I'd move Orchard to.
Yeah, if we were to move somewhere, I think we should move to GitHub.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
But one of the cons is that we are at Codeplex now, and we have quite a lot of contents on Codeplex.
I did manage to use the plugin HGGit to go from Git to HG. I don't know if there's an equivalent to go from HG to Git, but I imagine somebody wrote one. But it did preserve all the change sets.
Yeah, because actually, when you move Orchard to Git, then you have the reverse problem that you would have today with modules stored under a Git repository, which is that you still have to maintain a mixed environment, which sucks.
Yeah, I definitely would not want to do mixed. For me, it's all or nothing because the way we do subrepos, and yeah.
Yeah, but
I know we should probably get away from subrepos.
Yes.
But can we get a? I guess we can.
Yeah.
But
I think that one is an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
We've done it on Orchard itself, and
right.
It's a win. I think it would be nicer if we had. We've discussed that before. If we had a way to load extensions from a custom directory, like in your case, you would have a module/one-stop or one-stop modules directory, and that would enable you maybe to have two repositories, one for Orchard and one for your modules. I think that would be ideal.
Yeah, but I think you'd have to do that because to just have one, the problem is when a contributor does the way we do it now, if somebody else outside the Orchard core does a push to a module and you want to pull it into your repo, the procedure is to pull, merge, and then push to your.
Yeah, and there is also the problem of pushing from your clone of Orchard to the main repository, because you don't want to push your own modules, right? So if you want to integrate back a patch, for example, it's more complicated than it needs to be. Whereas if you cleanly separated the Orchard stuff from your specific stuff, then you could do that without having to think too much about it.
Does Git even have the concept of subrepos?
Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Yeah, but I would avoid using them. Submodules are
subrepos. You mean?
Well, submodules. They call them submodules rather than subrepos in Git.
Yeah. But in the case I described, you would just exclude that directory from your. You wouldn't consider it as a subrepo, I think.
So So basically, you do two pulls. You would do two pulls when you want a fresh copy. You would pull from
Yeah.
each one separately.
Yeah, well, you can do hyphen recursive, and it will go and pull everything from everything, obviously.
Without being a subrepo.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it can be a bit tricky. Subrepos in Git they're not well tooled either. I don't think, unless Git extensions handles them well. Bertrand, does it handle them well? Subrepos?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. I haven't tended to. I've tried to. Most people say
Bertrand,
get away from them.
I can't speak for Sebastian, obviously, but it seems like based on some of his recent actions, he definitely wants to move things to Git. So,
Yeah. So maybe because Git to Mercurial seems to work okay. One of the things that we had considered was to actually have both for a certain period of time synchronized and automatically. I mean. And maybe go like that for one version or two versions, and when we think it's okay to cut Mercurial support, we cut it, but going step by step maybe. Do people have any comments on that?
well, do we want to talk about pros and cons, or is it obvious?
Yeah, sure. I thought that's what we are doing. Giscard is saying another con for moving to Git is that people like me who have private forks of our chart for their projects have to deal with updating the project's repository. Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem we have with Mercurial too, though. Like that we have, right? We basically forked. We have the same problem because we have a private.
Yeah, I'm not. Can you explain how this is different from what you do today?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying is I would have to essentially migrate my own project's repo over to Git along with the Orchard repo, because right now I'm able to pull in updates like as they come in from Orchard and then merge them with my own project, which has some customizations to Orchard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, basically you're saying that everybody would have to move.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks.
Oh, he's saying everyone would have to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't.
Except if we have a transition period.
Oh, where we push to both.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Oh, I see what he's saying. Okay, everyone would have to move. Yeah.
Okay, so what did we say? In the pros, what did we have? We had...
The pros is that GitHub.com is very innovative. I don't have a lot of experience with Git versus Mercurial from a features perspective. I mean, Bertrand, you kind of gave me a little lesson 6 months ago, and we were talking about it, but ever since then, I haven't really seen that. I mean, the tooling, the clients, the command line, it's very, very similar, really, when you think about it. It's just different, but it's the same stuff.
Okay.
The cons are, change is a hassle. That's really the only con. It's like, generates work for us all to get it all working again, right?
Yeah. So yeah, and we have a lot of stuff in the discussions on Codeplex.
Yeah. That's true. There's so much knowledge in those discussions. So are you also proposing then? Are you thinking that we use the Git discussion features? I guess you might as well, right?
Yeah, if we were to move to GitHub, I think the idea would be to move there entirely.
Yeah.
Codeplex issues importer. Okay, so there is a solution for issues, then probably not for discussions, right?
Oh, look at that.
I'm looking for discussions. I only found that one, so Give me a couple minutes. I'll see if I can. I mean, it's just that's 2 years old, so who knows whether that's going to work or not.
Yeah, the good thing is that I think Codeplex is pretty good about syndicating via RSS, so there should be a way to systematically.
I'm sure Phil Hack will be able to help. Hey, Bertrand?
Yeah.
Actually, what are the main reasons for migrating to Git or even to GitHub from Codeplex?
Well, if we were moving to GitHub, I mean, like, he might be able to point us in the right direction.
Okay. Any other pros and cons that people want to mention?
Is there any? Let's talk about the Orchard Gallery, because I find it a little tedious that you've got your source that you post to Bitbucket or Codeplex or GitHub, or not GitHub, but Bitbucket or Codeplex, and then you've also got to go to the Orchard Gallery and kind of upload your file and write another description. So, is there a way we can, during this transition, unify that and think about how the gallery can just be pointing back to GitHub, right? Because it doesn't make sense to maintain two.
Yes,
For modules.
absolutely. We would love to do that.
Yeah, see, I think that's a big pro. Because the gallery, again, it's just a duplicate, and then you have to keep them in sync.
Yeah.
What, like a gem installer inside of
Well, GitHub has, right? GitHub has a download link as part of your repo. So
Yeah, but
didn't they disable the downloads?
Sorry, what?
Didn't GitHub disable downloads recently? Like they discontinued that feature?
Oh.
Maybe. And in any case, I was going to say what we would want to do in that case is actually move to a system where Orchard, instead of downloading a package, actually syncs the source of the module. So it works directly off a branch on the repository. And I mean, you could do that with Mercurial as well, except that Mercurial has to run on Python. So it means Python on the server. Okay, so they did get rid of uploads. So how do you deal with releases? How do you do a release?
On the link I pasted, they gave some recommendations, like using Amazon S3 or something.
Okay, well, that's one thing that Codeplex does better then. I would put that in the cons. Because we like to have releases that, releases tab where people can go and download the latest version of Orchard.
Couldn't that just be hosted on the Orchard Gallery or the Orchard Project website through like Azure Blob Storage or something?
Yeah, but we get all kinds of nice things such as
right.
Linking it to the change set, having statistics, etc. So. Why did they cut that? Explain.
It's in the first paragraph of the article.
Yeah. A source of great confusion and pain.
That's too bad.
Yeah. That's a mistake. don't get it. Okay. Okay, anything else?
Can you have private repos on GitHub?
No.
Yes, you pay for them though.
Yeah, you need to pay. Not free ones. I think Bitbucket is the only place where you can get free.
We actually pay on
private.
Bitbucket because we have more than 5 contributors.
Right, but for small, small projects such as modules, for example,
Yeah.
you can have private repos on Bitbucket.
Wow.
But if it's Git, then I mean we'll have to be homogeneous about everyone using Git, but it doesn't really matter where you use Git. So.
Yeah, there's no private repos on Codeplex, so I mean doesn't.
What?
No, they're actually, Nick, not really, because after 30 days you have to make it public or it gets deleted.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, there's no private. Sorry, I mean there's no private repos on Codeplex, so you're not using.
It's never been a problem so far.
Well, I would like. Ideally everything we do is public, but people wouldn't want our fork of Orchard, for example. It's just not something we'd want to share, not because of secrecy. It's just unique to us.
Yeah. There are completely legitimate reasons to have private repos.
Yeah. I won't quote you on that. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know when we would want to do that. Maybe shortly after 1.7.
So what's going on with 1.7 so far?
Not much.
I see a lot of talk about inline editing on the forum.
What?
I do see a lot of talk about inline editing.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of those guys have done anything. At least nothing out in the open that I can see. Do you know?
Not that I know of. I think the last thing that was done was what you did.
Okay.
And you're currently busy on the forums.
Yeah.
So I don't think you would have time to take that on. I mean, if people care enough about this, they should work on it.
Absolutely.
Has the Codeplex notifications being down slowed down progress on 1.7? Yeah, probably yes. Yeah, I haven't been there a lot last week, in part because of the notifications being down. So this has to go up soon. It's really affecting us. And it was the holidays, and so it's normal that not much happened during the past months. Sebastian was on vacation, so yeah, I didn't expect much more to happen, but it should be good now. We should get some progress now, and we'll do a status update next week if Sebastian is here. I hope. If he reappears, if he's still alive, and hopefully we can resume good progress on 1.7. Yeah, he's doing science. Hopefully.
While being still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that one. Do we have any demos today? If we don't have any demos, we can make this week short. I'll take a quick look at the untriaged bugs.
Bertrand, if you want to share screen, unfortunately I can't. Let me see. I need to make you a presenter. Hang on. For some reason, yeah, I'll do it. Hang on. I have to go to the window. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can now.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, we have 108 bugs that are not triaged. That's too much to do today, but yeah, this needs to be looked at.
I don't mind looking at some of them with you if you want at some point.
Yeah, the problem is finding the time to do it this week.
No, absolutely. I'm pretty stacked, but I mean, if you have free time at some point, ping me, and I don't mind going through them
okay.
if you want a second pair of eyes.
Yeah, thanks. The problem is this week. I mean, it's crazy.
I just mean time in general, so yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll look at bugs. Yeah. We'll start looking at them next week.
Sika, maybe you and me want to have a look at that inline editing and see if we can do something, maybe a cut down version for 1.7.
Yeah, that would be great. Let's talk about it.
Nick.
Yes.
There's also an out of the box with a Twitter Bootstrap solution.
Have you a URL?
No, I'm gonna keep it secret.
All right. Do you want to ping it to me?
Maybe.
All right. Cool. Thank you very much.
Very nice. The UI is very nice and modern, and if we can get it to talk to the database, it would be a really nice solution.
Well, the problem is not talking to the database. The problem is the way that the shapes are handled from the UI. Once that nut's cracked, then you need a way of making it so that it only works for particular parts. Because you don't want everything to be inline editable. For example, you might not want projections to be inline editable because you only want to show data rather than edit a projection. And you don't want to edit summary data either. You only want to edit the full thing on a detail view. So it's those kind of things that are the hard parts. Putting an editor in there is actually the easiest part of it all. I'm right in believing that, aren't I, Sibka?
Yeah, that's correct. I was thinking we should also think about what about custom user experience for inline editing. You know, we saw a demo at some point using the default editor displays, the editor shapes.
I'd like to introduce an inline editable part and remove the implementation for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
There was someone mentioned that they would like a way of turning it off. So if we use an inline editable part, or maybe something like you know how you've got draftable and creatable, and there's one other one, but you know they come up as boxes. Maybe we could have editable as one of them, you know, or inline editable.
I lost you, Nick. The connectivity here is not very good. Can you repeat your last sentence?
So how we've got if we could have like an inline editable part,
right?
Because there was someone on the forum that said they didn't want it to be on everything, which makes sense. So we could either do that, or we could introduce something along the lines of, you know how content items are draftable, and so on and so forth. Well, we could have an option that was inline editable, so it was a checkbox rather than a part, or you know.
Oh yeah.
Because it's more of a setting than a part. It's just as an example.
Yeah.
Because you're not updating anything, are you? You're not using a driver to update it. You're posting back to something. So
that makes more sense
to be a part. Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's talk about it. Do you have some time this week? Then we can discuss some design.
I've got time this week. Just ping me whenever.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. And then we'll start from scratch and make something really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
How far were you from having something useful?
Well, we had something, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what happened?
It just went
Time.
into the fridge or the freezer. Time.
We just ran into time issues.
Yeah. So what will you do differently this time?
Well, there's a lot of cleanup. We've got to clean up a lot of the code. And also, we need to make modifications to the core.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the thing. And we need to discuss, because last time we used the editor shapes, and we would render that into the front end. But well, I was thinking maybe we should also be able to customize that experience and more. Sometimes you just want a few settings on the front end and not the entire editor shape that's used in the back end. That was just an idea. We need to discuss that.
Well, that actually would fall in line with the forums module as well, because the same goes with stuff like TinyMC, for example. If you want to push that out as a text area on the front end, then you don't want to be using the media picker, for example. Or you might want to use it, but you don't want to use it if it's a public-facing website. You want to do something slightly different. So you need a way of hiding that, but not hiding it for everything.
Well, about media picker, there is now an extensibility point.
Yeah, I know.
Yesterday.
I mean,
that would enable you to replace the existing tabs. So, for example, if you wanted to display a different media picker when you're on the front end, that would, I don't know, restrict you to a set of images that you uploaded, for example. That would be doable.
No, absolutely. It's just there's those kind of things though. Also, image picking doesn't work for Markdown on the front end, and there's a few other tricks that we need to just have a look at, and also a lot of cleanup.
Okay.
Yeah, but it worked. It posted back and it saved, and it did what it was meant to do as a prototype, right, Sibka?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And some people, they gave some they provided us with some links with very cool examples how inline editing could work. I have to look it up. That's what I want to have a look at as well, to make it really look good.
Yeah.
I would suggest we also look at what Bertrand's been doing for us with regards to templates and layouts and how that would be integrated.
Yeah, about that. We need to talk about that privately, I mean. Because no decision was made on your end about that since last time we spoke, and yeah, it's cool stuff.
I agree.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to discuss, or should we make this a short one?
Just one other thing is the MIT license. If we had something with the MIT license in Orchard, would that be compatible with our current?
Yes.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, so Elon, that's a good thing that we can use that.
You want to use it for what?
Well, no, I just mean so the link that Elon sent through for inline editing.
Yes.
Is compatible with the Orchard code base. So if we wanted to, we could use that inside the inline editing module, just as an example.
If you look at the credits.txt file in Orchard, it gives you the list of the libraries that we're currently using, and it contains the license for each. So that kind of gives you a pretty good list of the licenses that were determined to be compatible with our BSD.
Oh, fantastic.
MIT is in there, Apache is in there, LGPL is there, and I think there are a couple of things under MSPL, all those work.
I actually really like this. I really like this, what Elon posted through. It's so bare bones that it's exactly kind of what we're looking for. Worth taking more of a look. Cool.
Yeah, and it's still using pop-up kinds of elements so that it doesn't try to cram too much into the front-end layout.
But it's not. That's the thing. Have you looked at the demo?
Yes.
Well, you guys should really look at it. I mean, it's got MVC patterns that come out of the box, JSON out of the box, and there's also some nice things with Knockout that you could leverage.
But the other thing I like about it is it gives you two options. So at the top you've got display. If you change that from pop-up to inline, then that is properly inline editing. If you change that to
yeah, but is this what we want to do?
what, actual inline editing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to be able to make quick edits like that.
Yeah, but do we prefer the inline to the pop-up style?
I think it gives you both options.
It gives you both.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean. It needs to be. I wonder whether you can actually just flip a switch to see choose which one you want. I mean, if it gives it to you both out of the box, then and maybe it's a case of styling.
Maybe it's a feature that's part of the part.
Well, it wouldn't be a feature. The feature would be the inline editing. I think the toggle would be against the part, like you said. Maybe, or I don't know. Something to think about. But it's nice. It's a really, really nice. It's really bare bones, and that's what I like about it.
They don't have a rich text area demo in there.
Do they not?
Let's see one.
Well, it plugs into jQuery UI. Okay.
Okay, that's all I had for today. Are there any other topics that people want to talk about, or maybe tell us what they're working on currently, or make announcements, or talk about what they could show next week?
Well, I did some stuff in the forums module. I introduced the ability to delete posts, but I haven't shown anyone that yet. But it is on live. Do you want me to demo that quickly?
So you can demo your own. You can delete your own posts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. And actually, can you also show the moderation UI?
I haven't actually got any moderation, but yeah, I can show something along those lines.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh, also I introduced search, which works, which is fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that is extremely useful, and it's something that so many forums get completely wrong.
It was it's literally just the default orchard search, which is it was really easy to implement.
Is that based?
Literally just type hi, and it just comes back with the posts. How cool is that? That was really nice.
Yes, well, it's the default search, so it is based on Lucene. Do you know how most forums, the PHP forums, how most of them are implementing search?
Probably using .contains.
Not even. Most of them use like.
Oh yeah, well that's the same. Oh.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. It's horrible. It's horrible. And the reason why they do that is that they're running off databases that they don't know have full text search capabilities, and for some reason they don't use something like Lucene. They don't use an external indexing engine like we do. So they have to use what they have, and it gives abysmal performance, which is why on so many forums, on so many PHP forums, you have to actually go through a CAPTCHA to do a search, because it's so expensive.
Do you mind if I ask a question about how this search feature is working?
Yeah, go for it.
So You're hosting this on Azure? Is it using a web role, or is this Azure websites?
Is Azure websites?
Azure websites. And then, so do you know the Lucene index is stored? Is it on local storage, or is it stored on like blob?
It's stored on local storage.
Okay.
So it's on file.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a copy for every single web machine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. So, I'll just tell you about a few changes I've made. So, first off, I changed some of these icons. Oh yeah, so one thing I didn't demo last time is the ability to do this. So if I click reply with quote, oh, of course I need to be logged in, so let me log myself in. Okay, so you can reply with a block quote, which is fine. Oh, whoa. No. Alright, well that's a bug. So,
yeah, also that save button. You need
I will change that, but not yet. So reply with quote allows you to do a quick reply now. So there's a piece of JavaScript that takes it and puts it into here. The problem is that, and I don't know if anyone else knows of a way of doing this, but the preview doesn't update. And I spent about a day looking at why it doesn't work. And for the life of me, I still don't know. So, but if you do a space or you do a key press, it works. So obviously, I don't know, but it does insert it straight in here with a block quote, and it will also work with TinyMCE. So what happens is it uses the Markdown transformation by it puts it into block quotes, and then uses Markdown transformation to turn it into what Markdown looks like. If I show you this one, for example, you can see that it's got 2 lines, so it will transform it so it's properly indented, which is pretty cool. So the next thing is if I've got my own post. So let me just sign out. I need to give my my user a privilege. Okay. So let me go to the dashboard. So there's a couple. There's quite a few permissions to this. So I'm going to do it for editor, just so that I can show you. You can delete your own. Okay, so I want the ability to delete my own posts. So I need to assign my user to the to this role, editor. So let me just do that quickly. Oh, I am an editor. Okay, so maybe I just didn't have a look at my own post. Just something I'm going to delete. So you can see here that I've now got the ability to delete my own posts. I don't know if you guys all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can now delete my own post, and that will take me back. So my post has been deleted, and take me all the way back. Now, if I started the thread, so if I'm the owner of the thread, so it keeps you on the same page, so you haven't lost context. Okay. So this is why I couldn't see it. So because this is the beginning of the thread, this is the thread. The thread is made up of a thread and the initial, the parent post. Now for the parent post, the delete symbol is not displayed on that line. Instead, it's displayed at the thread level. That's why it confused me. I haven't looked at this in the last couple of days. So when you hit that button, it will go through and it will delete all. It will unpublish all the posts. Well, it will remove all the posts and remove my thread. in actual fact, what happens is it actually removes the thread and then Cascade removes all the posts using a handler, and that works pretty well. So that's delete. Let me see if I can. Let me demo it from a thread perspective. Did I do this one last time? Oh, that's admin. Okay, so let me demo it from a test thread Nick one. Okay, so I don't know why that's displaying, but I'll have to have a look at that. Right. So if I just insert another thing. Okay, cool. So if I hit delete, it will go through and delete the thread. So it doesn't display in here anymore. So that's delete pretty much. From an admin perspective, I can do everything an editor can do. Don't know if this will actually work if I can do it, but let me log out and log in as an admin because it can make more sense. So Bertrand, what did you need? What did you want me to show?
The forum is moderated. How do you moderate it?
Well, you mean moderation as in if I make a post, that post needs to be approved by someone before it gets displayed.
Yeah.
So I wrote a bunch of moderation code around that. I wrote a whole moderation module, but I actually took that out because of the work that Sebastian's doing around workflow. So I would rather, I would rather use that than use.
That makes sense. On the other hand, forum moderation can be fairly specialized. I mean, the thing is, if you're a forum moderator and you have a lot of traffic on your forum, you want the tool to be really super fast because you're going to spend a lot of time moderating posts, and you want to be able to moderate them on the front end. You also want to do bulk moderation, where you look at everything that's new in a specific view, and you moderate that, very very fast, probably with Ajax.
So the moderation pipeline I had provided a user with an inbox. I haven't got it spun up, but what it did was it provided the user with an inbox on the left-hand side, and then every time you made a post, if that post was in a particular role, or if that post was in a particular group, then if that post was on a forum where the forum's owner would then be alerted, and that would appear in his backlog, and then you could then go through, rattle through, and approve it. It was a bit weird, and I canned it because of we all spoke on an Orchard meeting about a month ago around moderation, and we said that it would work for moderation, that the workflow engine would replace it. So I mean, I can spin it back up, but what do you think? Maybe one of the goals around workflow is moderation.
Yeah, I agree.
So that would probably.
You definitely did the right thing by waiting. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. So that's my demo, guys. Any questions? Minus the yellow screen. Ignore the fact that I had a yellow screen.
It's a great project.
Thanks.
I really love it. I will use it, definitely.
One other thing is search. Just so you know, when you switch it on, all you need to do is just check body, and it will search. Lucene will kick up and search for you. It's really straightforward. And I just added a search header and styled it, and that's how I ended up with this little beauty. So
Yep.
Easy. So I got questions. Oh yeah. Okay, so just one other thing. I introduced not avatars, but I introduced Gravatars. So I'll release. So I actually wrote a module around this. So I actually wrote a. I use Gravatar for it. I don't know if any of you other guys have used this, but it's a little. That's my moderation module, but Gravatar. So all you do is you just enable the module, and it allows you to do. What does it allow you to do? It allows you to use URL. It's actually pretty cool. URL helpers. It exposes a whole bunch of URL helpers to your system, and then you can just throw that on. Here we go. So you can see Gravatar. There it is, and that's all you have to do in order to generate a Gravatar. Once you enable the module, it's really useful. So I'll push that out a little bit later on. But yeah, cool.
Very nice.
Thanks. That was my demo.
Great. Anybody has anything to show? New sites? Anything of the sort? Questions? Okay. Well, then we will talk next week. That was kind of a slow day, but well, yeah, we made some progress about Git. I think we'll be able to make a decision on that. We need to do triage badly, and maybe we'll have some progress on inline editing next week. And we had a great demo by Nick on the progress on forums. That's cool. All right. Thanks everyone, and we'll talk next week. Bye bye.
Thanks guys. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye everyone.